The investigation into the potential murder of Matthew Perry is still in full effect, and now a bombshell in that 2 celebrities are suspected to be involved. He seized an iPhone and a laptop from a famous woman's room at a sober living residence in LA and brought her in for...
I get the 3 of Swords, which can signify at least 3 people who could be involved in the situation in some way, shape, or form.
Matthew Perry's death hit hard, not just for diehard fans who loved him deeply, but for the whole industry. Right after he passed, a flood of secrets and wild conspiracies started surfacing. Rumors flew about the insane pressure this industry put on him, saying it was too much for him to handle. Then the bomb dropped that he was overdosed before he died. All these theories led to one burning question: who could be behind all this?
Who died in the hot tub at age of 54 had formed an unexpected friendship with the well-known woman after meeting her during one of his 15 rehab stints.
Let's be real. If he was taking D, someone had to be supplying them. Who's the dealer?
News, several people who supplied Perry with could face federal charges.
And if he was being forced into shady stuff, who was pulling the strings and why?
On June 25th, In Touch publicly identified that the celebrity who was completely cooperative with authorities was socialite and actress Brooke Mueller. Now, if you don't know who that is, as Charlie Sheen's.
But recently, reports are coming out that the feds have found some serious evidence. Evidence that's pointing fingers at some major celebrities in this whole alleged murder case. Yeah, you heard that right. The very people we've all admired from the sidelines might be tangled up in this mess.
Assume that the police are investigating people that could have provided the ketamine to him, his doctors, his acquaintances or friends. I think the most likely charge would be involuntary manslaughter.
Imagine that. The same stars who've been gracing our screens could be linked to something as dark as this. What if the so-called glamour of Hollywood is just a mask for a more sinister underbelly? These new developments are raising eyebrows and fueling the idea that there's a much bigger conspiracy at play here.
Mueller's past choices may have put her in a position to provide some incidental, anecdotal background to the authorities investigating Mr. Perry's death.
So is it possible that these celebs were part of some high-stakes game, using Perry as a pawn in their dirty little secrets? What if this whole thing is just the tip of the iceberg, with more shocking revelations to come? The more you dig, the more it looks like the truth might be way uglier than we ever imagined.
Very tricky because he was being prescribed ketamine for clinical reasons.
Matthew Perry's death is about to blow the lid off Hollywood's dark side, revealing a twisted world of D dealing with some famous faces caught in the fallout. Reportedly, the LAPD, working with the US DEA and the US Postal Inspection Service, is gearing up for a press conference to announce potential charges, including involuntary manslaughter.
Law enforcement officials believe multiple people could be charged in Matthew Perry's. That's right, you heard me right.
So far, Charlie Sheen's ex-wife, Brooke Mueller, has been questioned by the cops about her connection to Perry, though she hasn't been accused of any wrongdoing. But that's not all. It has also uncovered the name of another actress who's now tangled in this messy investigation. The pressure is mounting, and this scandal could expose some shocking truths about the seedy underbelly of Hollywood.
Hearing reports that murder charges could be filed. And that's really what is happening in these cases.
Matthew Perry wanted to be remembered as more than just Chandler from Friends. And while he made a difference when he was alive by speaking so openly about his issues with substance abuse, it sounds like his death could have an impact too, as the investigation could expose D dealing in Hollywood. Authorities continue to look into how Perry procured the large amount of ketamine that was in his system when he drowned, and mail fraud may be involved.
Revealed that Matthew Perry had enough ketamine in his system for general anesthesia, so enough to have been operated on. So obviously that was such a high dose.
The investigation into Matthew Perry's drowning continues 8 months after the actor was found dead in his hot tub. Authorities have been questioning his acquaintances, even seizing a laptop and phone from Charlie Sheen's ex-wife, Brooke Mueller, who has reportedly been cooperating with the investigation and remains adamant she had nothing to do with Perry's death. One avenue that's being looked into, according to former CIA and FBI Special Agent Tracy Walder, is mail fraud. As she said, there's been an explosion in D rings sending prescriptions through the mail. Mail fraud is a federal offense, and the agencies handling the investigation into Matthew Perry's death, the Los Angeles Police Department, US DEA, and US Postal Inspection Service, are allegedly preparing to file charges against multiple people who may have been involved. Mail fraud is just one means by which Matthew Perry could have gotten the ketamine that was found in his system, Walder said, pointing out that often people will pay friends to give them their prescription. Either way, no murder charges are expected to be filed, as Perry is presumed to have taken the ketamine himself. The whole 9 yards actor was reportedly receiving ketamine treatments around the time of his death, but an autopsy ruled out that the D he'd taken could have been from his last treatment, which reportedly took place a week and a half before his October 28, 2023, passing. Matthew Perry admitted to having abused ketamine in his memoir Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, which came out a year before he died. He described it as feeling like he'd been hit in the head with a giant happy shovel and said, "They might as well have called it Maddie." It sounds like the authorities are prepared to hold multiple people accountable for supplying Matthew Perry with the D that reportedly led to his death, and possibly expose some of Hollywood's CDD dealing methods. So this B-list star, who had been very close to Perry for years and even shared screen time with him, is now embroiled in the investigation. They were seen in a photo together at a doctor's office known to prescribe ketamine. When contacted this week, the doctor's office claimed they never treated Perry and said, "We are not talking with any law enforcement about any cases at this time." However, the actress's cell phone could be a key target for the cops. A source told In Touch magazine, "I am 100% sure the feds will find the text messages between the two that will expose a lot of information that could help their investigation." Former CIA and FBI Special Agent Tracy Walder told Page Six that multiple people could be charged, explaining how D rings using mail fraud to send prescription medication have exploded. "Intent is going to be the question," she said. "They obviously knew what they were doing was wrong by D dealing. However, did they actively know that by procuring this, it would kill him?" Another startling development has emerged in the aftermath of Matthew Perry's untimely death, which occurred when he drowned in his hot tub due to the acute effects of ketamine in October 2023. According to In Touch, the LAPD has questioned a female celebrity regarding her potential involvement in the tragedy. They've been actively investigating Matthew's death, and she's a well-known figure in her own right. They first met during rehab, and their friendship was unexpected. A source disclosed in a report published on Wednesday, June 19th, although the woman's identity remains undisclosed, In Touch revealed she is married to an A-list star. The source acknowledged the difficulty in determining her exact role in Matthew's death, but emphasized that she denies any involvement. She's retained legal counsel and has cooperated in multiple meetings with law enforcement since they searched her sober living residence. The insider added she's remaining tight-lipped, but the issuance of a warrant suggests authorities have credible leads. She's deeply distraught regardless of her involvement. This situation could push her to the brink.
Police are now questioning Brooke Mueller, Charlie Sheen's ex-wife, as a person of interest. Perry and Mueller reportedly met in rehab and stayed friends.
The source continued that Matthew had been undergoing ketamine infusion therapy prior to his death. However, the ketamine detected in his system during the autopsy did not match his last treatment, which occurred over a week before he died. Consequently, the DEA and U.S. Postal Inspection Service, in collaboration with LAPD, are investigating the source of the substance found in Matthew Perry's system. In Touch also reported that the unidentified woman was fully cooperative when authorities arrived with a search warrant at her sober living residence. She voluntarily surrendered her iPhone and computer, though she was neither arrested nor handcuffed. Matthew's passing on October 28, 2023, at his Pacific Palisades home devastated his family, friends, and fans, and tributes poured in for the actor known for his humor and warmth. But the aftershocks of Matthew Perry's tragic death continue to be felt throughout Hollywood, and now one of his oldest showbiz colleagues has broken her silence. Social media was flooded with tributes as Matthew Perry's fans and fellow actors rushed to pay their respects following his sudden passing. Ione Skye, who starred alongside Perry in his 1988 movie debut, A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon, is the latest star to eulogize the late actor. Jennifer Aniston, David Schwimmer, Matt LeBlanc, Lisa Kudrow, and Courtney Cox released a joint statement as they grappled with their loss. The remaining members of the Friends cast said, "We are shocked and deeply, deeply saddened by our beloved friend Matthew's passing." The trio wrote, "It still seems impossible. All we can say is that we feel blessed to have had him as part of our lives. He was a brilliant talent. It's a cliche to say that an actor makes a role their own, but in Matthew's case, there are no truer words. From the day we first heard him embody the role of Chandler Bing, there was no one else for us. their tribute continued. We will always cherish the joy, the light, the blinding intelligence he brought to every moment, not just to his work, but in life as well. He was always the funniest person in the room. More than that, he was the sweetest, with a giving and selfless heart. The trio ended their statement with a somber play on the series' episode titles. We send all of our love to his family and friends. This truly is the one where our hearts are broken. Ione Skye is one of the many stars left heartbroken by the news of Matthew Perry's death. The two actors forged a strong bond when they worked together in 1988, and they remained close right up to the end of Perry's life. The depth of their friendship is evident in their final texts, exchanged just days before Perry's death. Skye shared 2 screenshots of the exchange on Instagram, along with an adorable 80s throwback pic of the two. She captioned the post, "My last exchange a week ago. I'm very, very sad. Loved this guy." In the messages, Perry wrote that he had to pause his meditation session after hearing the song In Your Eyes, so he could message Skye to tell her, "I instantly thought of you and how beautiful you are." He followed up by telling her that he hoped she was feeling healthy and happy. Skye replied that she was, and told Perry she was thrilled to hear from him and that she only had good memories of him. Perry shot back, "Me too. That one afternoon, I was just sitting in my apartment, and there you were." Of course, Skye's fans were totally there for it. One noted that you'd have to go to great lengths to beat Perry's text as the perfect last message. Another wrote, "How lucky were you to have that beautiful experience on set with both River Phoenix and Matthew Perry? What amazing memories you must have. Sending you love during this difficult time." Matthew Perry's last messages to Ione Skye offer insight into why he was so beloved by his fellow stars. Following his death, many actors came forward to share their special memories of the Friends actor. Gwyneth Paltrow posted a loving tribute on Instagram, recounting details of a brief but magical summer they'd shared in 1993. She wrote, "We stayed friends for a while until we drifted apart, but I was always happy to see him when I did. I am super sad today, as so many of us are. I hope Matthew is at peace at long last. I really do." Meanwhile, Perry's last interviews and social media posts provide a poignant and heartbreaking reminder of the actor's generosity of spirit. In the final Instagram video that he posted, which was taken during his promotional tour for his memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, Perry offered his support and advice for those struggling with addiction.
The disease doesn't care where it goes, you know. There's a stigma attached to it, and that's got to end.
In an interview, Perry tells people dealing with addiction that they're not on their own and reminds them that there are others out there enduring the same struggles. He emphasized,
"People understand that they're not alone."
Perry added that addicts have a disease and that this disease is never their fault.
Very famous kind of line that people don't change. I happen to know that people do change, and I see that every day.
At approximately 4 p.m., authorities were called to his residence where they found him unresponsive. Sources who requested anonymity due to the ongoing investigation did not specify the cause of death. While no illicit D were found on the premises, sources mentioned that prescription medications were recovered at his home. Los Angeles Police Captain Scott Williams, who leads the robbery homicide division that is investigating Perry's death, said the cause of death may not be known for some time, but at this point, foul play is not suspected. However, it seems like there is no one as sad as the Friends cast. The sudden passing of Matthew Perry has deeply impacted his Friends co-stars, leaving them in shock. Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, David Schwimmer, Matt LeBlanc, and Lisa Kudrow all were anticipated to release their separate statements. Sources have also revealed that all of them are profoundly devastated by the loss.
Nobody had ever dealt with that. And, the idea of even losing him.
Jennifer Aniston.
Although the primary cast of Friends has not made a public statement about Matthew Perry's passing, an industry source disclosed to Page 6 that Perry's former co-stars are deeply affected by the news and are in the process of preparing a joint tribute in memory of their friend. A source said the cast is reeling from the loss of their brother because that's what Maddie was, their brother. It's just devastating. The source continued, the entire cast are close. They will be devastated because they were together through the best of times and worst of times. And when Maddie was sick, they protected him. They looked after him fiercely. Matthew Perry appeared on Friends alongside Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, and David Schwimmer. The series, which aired for 10 seasons from 1994 to 2004, catapulted all 6 of them to stardom. However, their bond extended beyond fame, as the group formed close relationships that transcended their on-screen friendships. Perry, who candidly discussed his battles with D and AA over the years, always found support from his co-stars in his pursuit of sobriety. His castmates were understanding, and they were patient, he wrote in his 2022 memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. A memoir. It's like penguins. Penguins in nature, when one is sick, or when one is very injured, the other penguins surround it and prop it up. They walk around it until that penguin can walk on its own. That's kind of what the cast did for me. Jennifer Aniston, who starred as Rachel Green on the series, remained especially close with Perry following the series' end. She was the one that reached out the most. You know, I'm really grateful to her for that, Perry told Diana Sawyer in 2022. In his memoir, Perry also revealed that Aniston was the first person in the cast to call him out when his A became obvious on the set of Friends. "I know you're drinking," she said, Perry wrote, recalling the day that Aniston confronted him in his trailer. "How can you tell?" I said. "I never work drunk. I've been trying to hide it." However, Aniston revealed that it was clear to the entire cast. "We can smell it," she said, in a kind of weird but loving way, and the plural "we hit me like a sledgehammer," Perry added. Other Friends co-stars have since paid tribute to Perry, including Maggie Wheeler, who played Janice, the on-again, off-again girlfriend to Perry's character, Chandler Bing. "What a loss," the actress wrote on Instagram. "The world will miss you, Matthew Perry. The joy you brought to so many in your too short lifetime will live on. I feel so very blessed by every creative moment we shared." Morgan Fairchild, who made guest appearances as Chandler's mom on the series, took to X to share her condolences. "I'm heartbroken about the untimely death of my son, Matthew Perry. The loss of such a brilliant young actor is a shock," she wrote. "I'm sending love and condolences to his friends and family, especially his dad, John Bennett Perry, who I worked with on Flamingo Road and Falcon Crest. We are devastated by the passing of our dear friend Matthew Perry," Warner Bros. Television Group, which produced Friends, said in a statement to The Times. Matthew was an incredibly gifted actor and an indelible part of the Warner Bros. Television Group family. The impact of his comedic genius was felt around the world, and his legacy will live on in the hearts of so many. This is a heartbreaking day, and we send our love to his family, his loved ones, and all of his devoted fans. "We are incredibly saddened by the too soon passing of Matthew Perry," NBC, which aired the series for all 10 seasons, said in its own statement to The Times. "He brought so much joy to hundreds of millions of people around the world with his pitch-perfect comedic timing and wry wit. His legacy will live on through countless generations." Perry, the son of actor John Bennett Perry and Suzanne Marie Langford, one-time press secretary of Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, was born in 1969 and grew up between Canada and Los Angeles after his parents separated when Perry was 1.
For being funny, because I just loved her laugh so much. They're both people that take over.
He got his start as a child actor, landing guest spots on Charles in Charge and Beverly Hills 90210, and playing opposite River Phoenix in the film A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon in the 1980s and early 1990s. But his big break came when he was cast in Friends. Originally titled Friends Like Us, a sitcom about 6 single New Yorkers navigating adulthood that premiered on NBC in 1994.
God! That is so...
The series soon became a juggernaut, the anchor of the network's vaunted Thursday night must-see TV lineup, and turned Perry and his castmates Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, and David Schwimmer into megastars almost overnight. At its high-water mark for a 1996 Super Bowl episode and the 2004 series finale, the series could notch more than 50 million live viewers. By its end, cast members were earning more than $1 million an episode.
Now kind of just like, hello, back off, you know, just work, because I'm pretty tired of everybody now. No, we're getting along great, we're having a great time. We hope to do this for...
As Chandler Bing, the handsome, wisecracking roommate of LeBlanc's Joey Tribbiani, and later love interest of Cox's fastidious Monica Geller, Perry distinguished himself in a crackling ensemble cast. With his dry delivery, he created a catchphrase with a mere turn of inflection, based on banter he'd shared with childhood friends. Could he be any more Chandler?
Joey's Taylor?
took advantage of me.
Joey thinks the whole... Soon, he was attached to major stars like Julia Roberts and appearing in prominent films such as 1997 rom-com Fools Rush In, opposite Salma Hayek, and 2000 ensemble mob comedy The Whole 9 Yards with Bruce Willis. There was a dark side to the life of one of television's most beloved funny men, however. In his 2022 memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, Perry recounted his lifelong struggle with addiction to A and opioids. He wrote that he had his first drink at 14, but didn't recognize the signs of A until 21. Since then, he estimated he'd spent more than $7 million on efforts to get sober, including multiple stints in rehab. His substance abuse also led to a number of serious health issues, including a 5-month hospitalization in 2018 following a colon rupture that left him, he wrote, with a 2% chance to live through the night.
Just outside, just doing one-arm push-ups, just waiting for you, waiting to get you alone. Because alone, you lose to the disease.
And it was fueled, he acknowledged during a Friends reunion special in 2021, by the pressure to land the joke in front of a live studio audience night after night. Since his near-death experience in 2018, Perry had found solace in friends, frequent games of pickleball, and, especially, writing. Though producing Friends, Lovers, and The Big Terrible Thing had forced him to relive his darkest moments, it also connected him to all the sufferers out there. I had a story to tell, a story that could really help people, he wrote, and helping others had become the answer for me. Indeed, for all his success as an actor and more recently as a best-selling memoirist, Perry told The Times in April that his work was not the center of what he hoped would be his legacy. One of his fans wrote, "I'm so sad. Friends was the only show I ever cried when it was over. All the characters have a special place in my heart for all the smiles and laughter they gave me for 10 years. Rip ye whore. Matthew, I pray you're not lonely any longer." Another one added, "He suffered so much and looked like he was finding his way to a more positive lifestyle. It's a real shame he didn't get to enjoy it for long. I hope that people who have addictions will try to find their way out too. Death is final, and there is no turning back from it. Please get help if you have any addiction issues. R.I.P. Matthew." That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.